What's going on, everybody? It is Overreaction Time once again. I am your host, Simon Samano, and look who I got with me for this edition of ORT. It is none other than the fabulous Farah Hannoun. Farah, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. We had a week off last week because we were coming off a slow week, but we are back because we just had some action this past weekend. We got a big event coming up this weekend. So you ready to get this thing popping?
Let's get the ball rolling.
All right, Kamikaze, you know what time it is. Hit it.
I mean, guys, what are you fucking? Is this tonight's stupid question night? Are you guys that fucking stupid? You can't be that fucking stupid. Who gives a shit? One of the dumbest things I've ever read in my life. Fucking common sense. Everybody knows that.
All right, Farah, here we go. Let's get this thing going now. There is a lot to talk about right off the top with the light heavyweight division between this past weekend and this coming week. Let me break it down for you real fast. This past Saturday at UFC Perth, down under, we had a fight between Carlos Ulberg and Dominic Reyes. Carlos Ulberg scoring the second round knockout in impressive fashion over Dominic Reyes. Now, we know coming up this Saturday, we've got the light heavyweight title fight between Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira. That is a rematch. They fought back in March. But also on that card, we've got another fight that's going to be in contention for number one contendership. That is Jiri Prochazka fighting Khalil Rountree. Farah, a lot I just threw there at you with these names, but I'm going to just simplify it for you right now, Farah, okay? Because it's going to go down like this. The next light heavyweight title shot belongs to Carlos Ulberg, and there's nothing that Jiri or Khalil can do about it.
I'm going to say overreaction, not because I disagree that Carlos should be next. He's a fresh face for both Ankalaev and Pereira, so at least you guarantee that. But I think of the different scenarios that can play out because Khalil and Jiri are also fresh faces for Magomed Ankalaev. And if Ankalaev beats Pereira again, which a lot of people think he's going to do, is Ankalaev versus Ulberg this massive selling fight that's so exciting for the UFC? I don't know about that. That's where I am a little bit concerned. On the contrary, if Alex Pereira wins, I can guarantee you that Carlos Ulberg is next, simply because he's beaten the other two guys. Yuri's already had his shot a couple of times. There's a city kickboxing connection with Adesanya. Ulberg's a former kickboxer, so there's a lot to go with it. And Alex Pereira is believed to be a big star, but with Ankalaev versus Carlos Ulberg, now, I mean, I'm all about merit, so I'm not saying that I'd be against that fight, but I'm just thinking Paramount deal, UFC, big events, unless they throw it on an Abu Dhabi headliner, which won't be pay-per-view wise until the October after. I don't know. So I wouldn't entirely like Jiri Prochazka. When he wins in weird and wild fashion. So I'm not sure I'd be thrilled to throw him in another title fight because he's had his opportunities. And for Khalil Rountree, yeah, but I'm thinking just like the UFC and the way they think and business-wise and selling-wise and all that stuff. No, I'm not ready to say that he's guaranteed 100%. Even though he's the backup, we all know that means absolutely nothing.
Well, Jiri is the one I think between him and Rountree maybe who could do it. But here's the thing, though, Farah, you kind of touched on something. Ankalaev has already been vocal that he was more interested in the fight coming up this past weekend. Yeah. This past week, he already said it, right? He was more interested in the Ulberg Reyes fight, and given the result, I mean, how can you deny Ulberg? I mean, he's on this winning streak. He's fresh blood. Those other two guys have had title shots. It's got to be Ulberg. It's got to be Ulberg.
I have zero issue with it being Ulberg. I'm just saying in terms of it being guaranteed from the UFC's perspective, I'm not ready to say that yet.
It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. It is written in stone, and there's nothing that the UFC's. It's it. Did you see? Did you see after the fight? But did you see after the fight? After the fight, I know this happens a lot, but you saw after the fight this past Saturday, Ulberg. Who did he go directly to? Who was sitting cage side, and who did he walk directly to? Hunter Campbell.
Hunter
Campbell.
And he told him, you could fly and weigh in. Yes. But what does the weigh in mean? What does the backup mean these days?
The backup. I mean, the backup. I know the backup doesn't mean anything because they'll move away from it. They'll do it all the time. I just think, man, yeah, like the best. I suppose the best thing that could happen, like you said, is an Alex victory, right? Because it's an intriguing storyline and it's a fight you could definitely sell. I mean, any fight with Alex Pereira you could sell. We know between the two of those guys, Alex and Magomed Ankalaev, clearly Alex one of the biggest stars in the sport. But I don't know. It's it's got to be Ulberg. This is the one time I'm gonna vouch for Merab completely. He deserves it. You can't do anything better than what he did. I mean, that was an absolute. He was piecing up Reyes up until that point, and then the devastating knockout. Got to be Carlos Ulberg.
I agree that it's got to be him, but I'm going to call it an overreaction because the simple fact that I don't think it's guaranteed. I think it will depend on who comes out victorious from those two light heavyweight title fights next week, or this Saturday, rather.
All right. Okay, let's move on now, and let's talk about this coming Saturday. We got UFC 320 again. Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev are meeting in a rematch from this past March. I was going to talk about something having to do with the fight itself, Fada, but I'm actually going to get ahead of something here because you'll understand a little bit more afterwards. So let me just tell you what I'm getting out ahead of, and let me tell you this, that regardless of Saturday's result, Alex Pereira's legacy as an all-time great is secure.
You know, it's been interesting with him. Like what he's done was so spectacular. And then the way people fell off his train so quickly after he lost to Ankalaev was pretty surprising, in my opinion. Like, I was shocked that kind of people, you know, there's a lot of, I'm seeing people like, I don't like this version of Alex Pereira, the back and forth with Ankalaev. Granted, it's all through translators and chat GPT and all this nonsense that we're entering. But
Sure.
I'm seeing a lot of criticism towards him, which I don't like because I just feel
I have too. That's why I'm getting out in front of this, Fada. I've heard it, and it's blasphemy. But go ahead.
Yeah, because I feel like if he loses a second straight time to Ankalaev and you throw that all-time great, I guarantee you're going to have some reservations from people. Like, if you throw it out as a discussion topic online, like, people are going to have their reservation. They're going to forget about everything he did. The prime example I always think of in MMA of a guy that this happens to is BJ Penn. Does anyone remember what BJ Penn did? He was incredible in his prime. Like, this guy was the first guy to do the two-weight thing and fight guys that are way heavier than him. Well, not the first guy, obviously, way back in the day, like Vitor and whatnot. But I'm saying, like, in that era, like, he was the guy doing it, and then Anderson Silva did it. But then everybody forgets about what BJ Penn did, right? Because they're just looking at his 8-fight losing skid. So I think for Alex Pereira, if he loses a second time to Ankalaev, like, people are just going to forget what he did because he did so much in such little time. It wasn't over a stretch of over a decade of dominance or anything like that. And people like to put asterisks on everything. But I think because we're in a different time, it's a little bit hard to tell. Like, people don't stay in their divisions. They don't defend titles one after the other. They're jumping weight classes and stuff. So it's really hard to gauge. And when we talk about greats, when we talk about Mount Rushmores, we always go back to the same guys, the guys that have defended their belt 7, 8, 9, 10 times.
We do.
Yeah. Those are the guys that stick on the Mount Rushmore every single time. So, I mean, Alex Pereira tried. He tried to continue defending his belt. It's not like he had jumped to heavyweight. Granted, there was some talk.
There was talk.
There was talk. But this is what I hate about today's fighting, is that it's all about that and just becomes really tough to gauge greatness. But long-winded answer to say that, is it cemented? Yeah, because I don't see him. I don't see him.
I would say definitively he's one of the top 20 fighters of all time.
Sure, you can't deny what he's done.
Yeah, and he might even be a top 15 fighter of all time. Like, and if he were to have some sort of late career surge, he could enter into that top 10, maybe even top 5 territory, depending on what those fights are. You know, what those matchups are. But for what he did in such a short period of time, I mean, listen, since people need to be reminded. Fada, since people need to be reminded, let's just lay it out real fast. All right. Sean Strickland knocked him out before he was champion, but that's a former champion that he knocked out. And of course, to win the title, he knocked out Israel Adesanya. Granted, lost it in a knockout, so they're even 1-1 in MMA, of course. We know that Alex holds the overall advantage, but he knocked out the guy that many people consider to be maybe the greatest of all time, at least second greatest of all time behind Anderson Silva, right? So he does that. Then he goes to the other division and he wins the light heavyweight championship. And then we have to recap what he did? I mean, it was 4 title fights in a span of 11 months. You're never going to see, it's hard to envision seeing something like that happening again. We have to appreciate that for what it is, regardless of what happens with this Ankalaev rematch. He has secured his status as one of the top 20, maybe top 15 fighters of all time. I mean, I'm just going to put, and I'm saying this now because I don't know what's going to happen on Saturday. You know, I'm not sure how this fight's going to play out. Like, my heart says one thing, my mind's telling me something else, and I'm sure you can decipher what that is. So I'm getting out in front of this right now because I want to make sure people understand that Alex Pereira, regardless of what happens, he's one of the all-time legends in this sport.
Yeah, you know what? Like I actually just wrote an article about Ankalaev's coach saying that he's an old kickboxer, doesn't have speed, doesn't have knockout power, which just kind of reminds me of the stuff Dricus's coach was saying before the Hamzat fight, and I'm like, am I gonna switch my pick or what? But I could be just like selling the fight and whatnot. But yeah, you look at the names that he's beaten, the guys, it's all like former champions and whatnot. So yeah, he's a great for sure. Like the discussion of top 15, top 20, whatnot, that's a different discussion, I guess, for a different time. But yeah, I guess not an overreaction. He's definitely an all-time great, but I just think people have very short memories, and that's the unfortunate part of it.
Yeah. All right. Now, real quick, before we move on to the next topic, tell me what your initial thoughts are on this fight coming up Saturday. You've had plenty of time to think about it, Farah. You've read a lot of things. You've written a lot of things. What do you think is going to go down in this fight Saturday? And if you don't want to make a pick yet because you're waiting, that's fine. But where are you leaning, at least at the moment?
Ankalaev right now, just based off of the way the first fight went, just because I feel like there's a pretty like good blueprint of how he can fight. And I know Pereira said he came in at 40%. This kind of reminds me of the Kamaru Usman thing, but at least for Kamaru, aged well later on. But him saying he was at 40%. To be fair, he was asked what percent he thought he was at, and he said 40. But yeah, you know, we heard Amanda Nunes say that about the first Juliana Pena fight. We're all like excuses, and then she does what she does in the rematch, right? So you got to wait and see. He said he was compromised. His hand was hurt, and guy is a knockout artist. So if his hand bothered him, let's see if it is really valid. He did stuff 12 takedowns. Ankalaev's pressure seemed to be a bit troublesome for Pereira. So for now, I'm leaning towards Ankalaev, just based off of it seems. I don't know. I don't like it when fighters are always traveling and doing all this media stuff. Put Merab aside, he's like a little enigma because he's everywhere too. But anytime I see fighters that are traveling everywhere and not like constantly in the gym, like that worries me, and that's what I've seen out of Pereira ever since he lost his belt. And I'm like, but yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like we overread these things. Right now, I'm leaning Ankalaev. I'm gonna have to really think, just because he's got more ways to win.
Yeah, I got you. I did say after the fight, I don't remember if you were on the show or not. No, actually, it was George. I think George was on the show when I said that Alex had only himself to blame for the way that fight played out because he was so hesitant. So,
yeah,
you know, if he was hesitant because of a physical ailment, right? Like he said, he was only 40% or whatever the case was. He wasn't 100%. Okay. Well, I hope he's 100% coming in because he's going to have to let those hands loose. You know, this time around, he was so hesitant last time. It was so uncharacteristic. He will have a chance, obviously, to knock him out if he can get his hands going in this fight and not be so reluctant to throw. So just throw your damn hands, Alex, and you'll have a great chance to win this fight on Saturday.
That's literally it. Like he's got to be a lot more reckless. I know that's going to open up to get caught because
he stuffed the takedowns, like you said. So
yeah, he's got to be, his way to win is he's got to be less gun shy. He's going to have to be a little more reckless in there, which could be a blessing or a curse. But it's the way for him if he wants to win.
Well, if he does knock out Ankalaev this Saturday, don't get me started, Fada, on where he is as an all-time great then, okay? I have to remind everybody one more time. I have to remind everybody one more time.
that would be incredible. But it's recency bias. It's always recency bias. Like people love to forget everything people have done, like fighters have done. They just focus on what happened like right now. It's going to happen to Charles Oliveira now. If he loses to Gamrot,
him up and spit him out. Yeah,
they're going to forget about that crazy win streak over Poirier and Gaethje and Chandler. They're going to forget all about that and just be like, Oliveira is washed and he's done. And yada yada.
Yeah, makes me sad. All right, well, let's move on now, Fada. Now let's talk about the co-main event. Okay, the co-main event at UFC 320. Merab Dvalishvil is going up against Cory Sandhagen, putting his bantamweight title on the line. The talk going into this fight, Fada, has been heavy on striking because Merab talking about how he's gonna knock out Cory Sandhagen. Sandhagen basically saying, "Yeah, good luck with that, bro." And then Merab being like, "No, you're gonna feel my power." Fada, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you right now that Merab trying to strike with Cory Sandhagen, it would be a grave mistake.
I mean, yeah, but you know what? I'm not going to be surprised if he has success on the feet because Cory's going to have to worry about the takedown. That's the problem. Like, it opens up your striking. So I know exactly what Merab is saying. Like, he's going to go out there and he's going to tag Cory Sandhagen on numerous occasions, trying to close the gap. And then it's going to be like, see, I told you so. But it's not really like that. It's because this is not a striking only battle. Obviously, Cory's going to be very wary of the takedowns, and he's had a similar test, not exactly the same, but in Umar Nurmagomedov, and he just had to keep fending off those takedowns. It's exhausting, and Merab just brings this crazy, wild pace, and Cory's going to have to catch him with something crazy, and he can because he's very versatile on the feet.
Yep.
He's got flying knees, he's got spinning wheel kicks,
He's acknowledged, Merab acknowledged what he's done with the flying knees, the spinning kicks.
And he's not afraid to throw. That's the difference. Like we were talking about the Ankalaev Pereira fight, the first one where Pereira was hesitant, perhaps because of the takedowns, and he succeeded in defending those takedowns, but he wasn't throwing. Cory's not afraid to throw. He's fought wrestlers a lot. Like he's had to deal with most of the times that Cory Sandhagen fights, even the Dillashaw fight, people are trying to take him down. He's used to that. So that's why he's not a guy who necessarily hesitates. Like he'll let his limbs go. He'll let his hands go. He'll let his feet go. So he's going to have to catch him with something like that. That's what I think it is, because Merab is relentless. He doesn't care if he fails on numerous takedowns. He's got an insane pace. His chin hasn't really been tested either. Like, this is not a guy who's been cracked a lot. It's just, he's a pretty big favorite for a reason. Minus 440, what I saw this morning.
Yeah,
and I don't think that's even disrespectful to Cory. I just think at this rate, it's pretty hard to bet against Merab. But we were saying this about Merab and Sean O'Malley, like maybe Sean O'Malley could be the guy. Like, well, not everyone was saying that, but some people, because they're like, he's a sniper and they saw what he did to Aljamain Sterling. Similar case here. He's just going to have to catch him. That's what it's going to come down to. Like the way Cory Sandhagen wins is he catches Merab.
How long do you think it takes before Merab shoots? Like, you don't think he's going to go into this fight and spend, let's just say, the entire first round just standing with him, do you?
I wouldn't be surprised if he pressures him and keeps him completely on the back foot, his back against the fence, and just kind of strikes. But if he gets tagged with something, it's going to switch up real quick. And he can, because, front kick to the face, it could be anything with Cory Sandhagen. And that's what I'm saying, because he's not a boxer only. He can tag him with anything. And I think if he just needs to get hit one clean strike, and he'll probably switch to his grappling.
Are we both picking Merab this Saturday?
It's hard to pick against him at this rate. Like, what would be the logic behind picking? And I love Cory. Cory's a guy I've been interviewing since his UFC debut. So I love Cory Sandhagen. I've never really picked against him. But if I'm using my head and based off of what we've seen, like, what would make me think that Merab would lose anytime soon? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's going to be hard for me to pick Cory here. It's all Merab. He's a machine. He's about the lock-up fighter of the year if he gets. I mean, I think it's already locked up. But I guess if he loses, it opens the door, right? You can't lose and be fighter of the year. Yeah. But if he wins, that's it. It's a wrap. He'll be fighter of the year, no doubt about it. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. I'm excited for this one. Merab is one of those guys. I'm amazed at where he started, like, and how he's built himself up so slowly to being, on the brink of like stardom. Like we're viewing him like he's a I don't know if he's a major star, but man, who doesn't love them some Merab at this point,
Well, John Anik was just saying, like, he's like the biggest. I don't know what category he was trying to put it, but like biggest American star. Biggest American star period, or biggest American star that's not American. I don't know what he was trying to say, but something along those lines. But I'm trying to think, because we only have one American champion right now, which is Kayla Harrison, and John Jones. Do you even want to count him as active or not?
No.
But we're not we're not going there, don't worry.
Wait, what do you mean American? Merab is Mexican. What are you talking about, Farah?
Oh yeah, true. American citizen, Mexican citizen, is everything.
All right, Farah. All right, 320 this weekend, going to be great. We're going to move away from UFC 320 now, and we're going to talk a little bit of the UFC White House event, because some things have come up, right, in the past couple weeks. And I got to address them on this show, Farah, because as ridiculous as it is that there's going to be fights at the White House, of course we're going to cover it on Overreaction Time. So let's start here. Since we were last on the air, Conor McGregor has come out and said that he's going to fight. And he said, I'm putting emphasis on he said. There's nothing official, nothing announced, but he said he's going to fight Michael Chandler. He declared Michael Chandler will be his opponent. Of course, that gets Michael Chandler all excited. He thinks it's going to happen now all over again, Farah, okay? So I'm going to hit you with this one right here, Farah. If, and I'm saying a big if, but if Conor McGregor actually returns for the UFC White House event, he should fight Nate Diaz, not Michael Chandler.
Are you serious? If trying to get Conor to be there is already a battle,
Make it happen.
You really want the UFC to try to get Nate Diaz there? Do you understand? Unless the White House event is in 4 years,
these guys. Okay, listen, Farah. These guys, Nate Diaz included. These guys, they love Trump. They love Trump so much. Anything to fight in front of Trump. Anything to fight at the White House. Dude, Nate Diaz, you got to complete this trilogy. This is the only fight that has to happen.
Sure, but trying to negotiate with both, like, why would they want to add in an entire other headache? Like, if they could succeed,
Farah, why do you got to bring logic into my overreaction time, Farah? Listen, this is the fight that has to happen.
Michael Chandler is ready. Michael Chandler will fight in Egypt if I tell him to come tomorrow. Michael Chandler is ready. Okay. Why? Like, you already have a problem trying to get Conor McGregor to come. Okay, if you can negotiate with him, whatever 100 million golden visas, whatever he wants. If you can get Irish president, if you can get Conor McGregor to show up to the White House, that's done. You want to deal with Nate Diaz after that? Are you serious?
Okay.
No.
Listen.
No. Michael Chandler.
Okay, but is that not the fight you would want to see, though? If you had a choice, though.
It doesn't need to be on the White House, though. It doesn't need to be on the White House. Like, I'm down to see that.
Conor McGregor doesn't need to be on the White House, and he's probably not going to be. So why am I even bringing this up, right?
He will be. I have faith. Like, little.
Oh my gosh, you really do think it's going to happen? You do think it's going to happen?
Because Michael Chandler is the other side of the equation. Anyone else, you're dealing with like, if you're dealing with Jorge Masvidal, even he's not even that big of a headache compared to Nate Diaz. But it's like, trying to get Conor McGregor to show up is one thing. Those guys, you know how they roll. It's like, oh, Conor, you're going to give Conor this. I want this. I want that. Michael Chandler's like ready to go. He'll fight with one leg and one arm. Like, why? Why would you go through the headache? And he's good for the White House. He's Mr. America or whatever. Like, he's good for the White House as well. Why are you doing this to Michael Chandler? Like, just
well, listen, and he'll fight. I'm sure it'll be significantly cheaper than what Nate Diaz would want to fight. I get it. I understand.
Significantly easier, significantly less of a headache, significantly everything. Why would you even
doing this to Michael Chandler? Come on, Farah.
Yes. No.
Oh,
look,
goodness.
You've got one side that's there. Consider he's probably camped outside the White House right now. Like, you've got one side that's already there. Okay, why would you go down that headache?
Physically, he is there already outside the White House, waiting in line. They haven't even built the damn octagon yet, and the whole. This
is what he meant when he said "see you at the top." He had a point. He had a vision. Don't ruin it.
Oh my goodness! Listen, all I'm saying, Farah, is that if I was going to watch Conor McGregor fight one more time, which is probably what this would be, I mean, he's not going to fight.
He can fight Nate Diaz in bare knuckle. He can box him. He can whatever. Just listen. Michael Chandler is ready to go. You already have a side that will say yes to everything. Trying to get Conor McGregor to actually show up is another thing. So it's like, if you get him to show up, just go with Michael Chandler. Why? Right, why create more?
I guess, Farah. I guess we're going to have to settle for Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler if it even happens. Okay. And if it does, well, damn, I'll congratulate Michael Chandler personally if I ever see him, because, geez, he's been chasing this fight for the last 3 years or whatever the case is. But I really want to see the Conor McGregor Nate Diaz trilogy. Sure, it can happen at any point. I'm guessing. I'm guessing it can happen at any point.
It can bare knuckle, boxing, whatever. Just
all right.
Michael Chandler.
Okay. All right. We're gonna touch on one other topic now regarding the UFC White House event. Listen, this White House just brings out the most ridiculous conversations, right? Because it's a ridiculous event that it's even happening. All right. And now this is ridiculous. Ronda Rousey's in the news about fighting at the White House potentially because she's posting videos of herself training and, you know, how she started and where she's at now with her striking and all this stuff. And all this is thinking maybe it's in, you know, anticipation of a return to the UFC, specifically in anticipation of a return to the UFC at the White House. I don't know where that'll happen at the White House or if she's trying to come back or whatever. But I'll just say this, Farah, that Ronda Rousey would be foolish to return to the UFC unless she fights Holly Holm or Miesha Tate.
No, I'll say it's an overreaction because the fight I mean, Holly Holm, like, what's her status with the UFC? But I think Juliana Pena is not a bad fight. Juliana Pena can talk.
Why do you want to see Juliana Pena against Ronda Rousey?
Why not? Like, why?
You have to have the rematch with Holly Holm, or you have to have the trilogy with Miesha Tate.
Sure. not the worst idea. But she said she doesn't want to fight at the White House, though. But then Kayla Harrison teased something big, and she's supposed to fight Nunes like early next year, I guess. So who on earth is she talking about? Who on
Kayla
earth?
Harrison is not fighting Ronda Rousey. That's not happening.
Please no. But like,
That's
yeah,
not happening.
unless she's
That
talking
would
about
be-
Chris Cyborg or something like that. But I can't
That-
think of who
That
she
can't
could-
happen either. She
Unless-
cannot. Ronda Rousey cannot come back to fight Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes, or Chris Cyborg.
No,
She'll
not Ronda.
She'll get obliterated by any of those girls.
I agree. I'm talking about Kayla's teasing something big for the White House. So I was wondering what on earth she could possibly be talking about, unless it's nothing that exists right now is big outside of Amanda Nunes, and that's supposed to happen early next year. I don't think they're delaying that to the White House. So I have no idea, unless she's fighting Merab or something. I don't know. But intercontinental bantamweight champion. But like outside of that, like I don't know, or Henry Cejudo. But like in all seriousness,
We're going full Ringling Brothers now, Farah.
that would be
I like
perfect
it,
for
though.
the White
I like
House.
it.
That actually would be perfect for the White House.
It would be.
But in all seriousness, I guess, you could do Ronda and Miesha, but she doesn't want the White House. So why would Ronda even return? Because I guess like the idea of her returning, because the White House is supposed to bring out all the big stars. John Jones wants in and everyone wants in, but why would Ronda return, period? You know what? Ronda's not returning. Ronda's not returning.
I mean, I don't think she's returning either. And I'm just saying she would be foolish to return. I mean, that's the first part of this overreaction, right? Ronda Rousey would be foolish to return to the UFC. The reason why I'm specifically pointing out Holly Holm or Miesha Tate, and I guess take it more broadly, is because she's going to have to fight somebody from her era. She couldn't fight anybody currently, She couldn't, like we were talking about 8 years ago. However, when the hell did she fight? 2017? 2017, right? 2016? Amanda Nunes? When did she lose to Amanda Nunes? December 2016?
I believe so, yeah.
So it's been almost a decade. And we were already talking then, oh man, like the sport caught up to Ronda Rousey. I mean, the sport has lapped her. The competition level has lapped her 2-3 times over. She's going to fight somebody. It's going to have to be somebody who's aging, right? Ronda Rousey's 38 years old. She'll be 39 early next year. It would have to be somebody who's aging and from her era. We know she can beat Miesha Tate because she's beat her twice already. And Holly Holm, I mean, that's a rematch that we never got. Granted, I think in hindsight, if that rematch had happened, 6 months later or whatever, it was going to end the same way, right? Because Holly's striking was in peak form at that point.
Yeah.
But like now, sure, she can hang with Holly Holm. I'm sure. I'm guessing she can hang with Holly Holm in a fight. 44-year-old Holly Holm. Sure, like with her hands.
We don't even know.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if Ronda's going to come back, it's a dumb idea unless she's fighting somebody from her era. It can't be to prove that she can fight somebody currently, and it certainly can't be an Amanda Nunes, Kayla Harrison, or a Chris Cyborg. She'll get pieced up, even though Chris Cyborg's from her era, and even though Amanda Nunes is from her era too, I guess. But Amanda Nunes was emerging as part of a new era at that point. She'll get pieced up by those three girls.
No, I agree. I don't think there's any that's one of the examples that even regardless of how bad she looked in the Holly and Nunes fight, what she's done for the sport, love her or hate her, you can't that's something on its own. That's regardless of even the title defenses and stuff, her presence, her in the sport. So there's no reason to ruin that. I think it's even unfair the way people talk about her and forget the impact she's had. So I just think it's completely pointless. And I don't think it's even going to happen. Her just training MMA, we all got overexcited, and everybody, well, I don't know if overexcited, but everybody's talking about it on their podcast and whatnot.
It, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think she's
all for publicity. You thinking all for publicity? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Especially that she ruled out, after she ruled out the White House and said, why would I fight at the White House or whatever, that said it for me, right? Because that was going to be the only thing that would make me think that she would consider a return, since everybody seems to want to fight at the White House. But the fact that she ruled, dismissed the White House fighting there, then...
Remember, she's trying to keep it a secret, Farah. Trying to keep it a secret,
And she's going to fight She's going to fight Kayla?
Please no. If that happens, we're gonna have a field day on this show. If Kayla Harrison and Ronda
Seriously,
Rousey
a hell of a storyline because of the whole judo and Olympics and Ronda beating her in judo, but no.
Yeah, watch the UFC just sanction a judo match or something between the two of them. Just so
what is the grappling thing? The UFC BJJ?
Isn't it just called UFC BJJ?
Yeah, there you go. At the White House.
At the White House. Why not, Farah? Let's just have some fun. Let's go crazy. Okay, the time for overreacting has come to an end. I really enjoyed this episode, Farah. Thank you for being on the show. You brought the energy today.
I appreciate it. Yeah, this White House topic is just going to be... I mean, Masvidal just said he wants to fight Leon Edwards, and do to him what America did to England.
Hey, we're going to have all the conversations on this show. And anytime we have these conversations, anytime I come with the overreactions with the White House, I'm going to make sure you're on the show, all right? Specifically.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, everybody, please, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys for watching. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. To Farah, one more time, thank you for being here. We will see you guys on the next edition of ORT. Dana, take it away.
MMA Junkie AI.